hang on. Sorry.
I started a fire.
What?
I've got a fire going.
She started a fire. I'll be back.
Okay.
G'day, punters. Welcome to a mailbag preview powered by puntingform.com.au. As always, the database that took Peter and I to the next level and will take you as well if you're courageous enough to try it. Also made possible by betfair.com.au. If you want better odds and you want to bet and run, you've got to be betting at Betfair. Don't be scared, punters. That's not a little... Who is that? You might be asking. Das is a little bit scared. No, it's all good. He has not converted to Islam. That's Peter Pistol.
It's got a cap. Look, I mean, but if I wear it front, I look like I'm in a way.
Yeah, true.
You know,
but the other way you look like it might be converting to some form of Arabic religion. Yeah, sweet. How are you going with the self-ISO as we attempt to bring you a previous show sticking to the guidelines given us, well, we think we're given us to by Scott Morrison, who he's been airborne. Hopefully we back a few horses that go a bit better than him and a little bit straighter.
Yeah, we're not really sure, are we? Self-isolation, this is pretty much normal life for me, so I'm actually coping pretty well. Looking forward to some more racing, hopefully. Otherwise,
well, the two New South Wales jockeys have come back negative.
Yep.
So I think we're all good up there. We're definitely going to be racing in Sydney, so we're going to preview 3 races from Rosehill for you guys today. Because we're confident we're going to race there and we're going to touch on 2 races at Bendigo. Should we start at Bendigo, Peter?
Yeah, for sure. We'll look at race 7 and 8.
Bendigo Guineas and the Golden Mile. 2 classics. Disappointed we can't get there to this meeting. It's a really good meeting. Great race day normally. Be a shame for everyone sort of out that way who's probably relying on all this cash coming in.
Yep.
Sad times. But we make do. So race 7, Peter, it's the Bendigo Guineas. There's the synthetic hold. Up comes the speed map. I thought the speed map was absolute and utter chaos. I don't know where you want to start. I don't know, where do you want to be in run on Saturday at Bendigo, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you want to be rearward, but outside of that, I think if you've got on the right horse in a forward or midfield position, I think you'll be pretty happy. But as you said, there's a lot of wide barriers here with a lot of back markers existing in this race. And as a result, I was pretty keen to have a look at a few at really big odds, not necessarily the sharp end of the market, but I thought the way that Treaty of Seville and Piedra, who I know that's a horse that you've had plenty of time for, but it's going Group 1 Luke Nolan to Group 1 Jai. Barrier 7 might actually end up in a more forward position than what we've seen more recently with this horse. It's been snicked out of its life a few times and still been able to run some decent sections late. But yeah, Treaty of Seville as well. Just thought the way that it went through the line, I was pretty happy with that. So both horses around the 30-odd plus mark at the moment. I reckon we'll get even longer on the fair. Just keen to have a little tiny bet on both of those. The other one I thought that wasn't suited at all last start, just by nature of how the track played with score. Did go around at big odds, but I think you have to certainly have something on that galloper, given it's got gate 1 and can probably put itself into the race here. Spen gets every favour out in front, I think, but I just had a few queries as to how that horse went last start. It seemed to get every possible and just faded very late there in Sydney. So just a few queries on how that horse is going.
I think if Spen runs, probably wins. Bomb-proof, big drop back in class here. Makes own luck. Tick, tick, tick. Riddle me that. Scary draw. Airborne. Pings the lids right in the race. Independent Road, I think, can win. Vegas Jewel will be fascinating to see what it does first up off a really impressive preparation last prep. Agree, Piedra's like a chance, but just the map looks awful. I think Score will go really, really close. It needs a good ride. It's no guarantee to get one, but I think if it does, it's going to be right in it. But I'll be looking at backspend, maybe get something out of Score. That's the 2 horses I found there in the Bendigo Guineas race 7 over 400 metres at Bendigo. Peter, race 8.
Yeah, the Golden Mile. It is a mile. Listed race. It's a handicap. Again, plenty of speed on paper in this event, but I think most of it's drawn out wide, with the exception of maybe Hakey and Kentucky Breeze could probably put itself forward. But then you've got Hell of a Street. Gallo Chop's also nominated for Sydney as well. So keen to see where that horse ends up. But then Odeon, Goldfields, Ventura Storm, they'll possibly all come across from their wide barriers, depending on how much intent's shown. And I'm on a side with a couple of on-speed gallopers here that weren't suited last start, and they were Hell of a Street and then also Odeon. They both put themselves into the race, but again, just by sheer nature of how some of the tracks have been playing of late, they just weren't suited, just weren't in the best ground, and were still, I thought, quite good going through the line. So both of those gallopers going forward, just want to have something on both at a price. I thought Dead Agent was really good, but it's drawn gate 1 and it's typically a back mark.
Yeah, like where do you get that in run? Yeah. Just going to be last defence, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So again, really, really tricky race. There's probably a heap of angles, and how the track plays will determine a lot of this. But I think Hell of a Street and Odeon, they're both strong on-speed gallopers that should be really fit. Hell of a Street also has gone from the Brunton yard to the Paddy Payne yard. So I thought that was an interesting switch.
That might be a bit of COVID-19 action, though.
Yeah, potentially.
Did you hear the joke about the Prince Alfred, or like not Prince Charles, the one who doesn't sweat? Did you hear the one about him?
Prince Andrew. Okay,
Prince Andrew. Prince Charles got COVID-19, but Prince Andrew's got COVID-14 or 15. But he's sweet because he can't catch it because he can't sweat. Anyway, I thought this race, like, geez, it's a real head scratcher. You look through the field, you can half make a case for most of them. Sosi Bond drops right back in grade, gets a softer draw, could be sort of three pairs back, one off here. I kind of like it. I think you might get a little bit of a drift. I hope you do, and I'll be happy to play around the $9 mark. Could be tempted to play it's certainly the most likely winner of the race in my eyes. Princess Jenny drawn 9. If it wins, I'll throw up and stop gambling for the rest of the day after it not winning that Friday night. I'll just be repulsed. But there's horses like Sekandrabad, Iconoclasm, Magic Console, all on their day with huge ability. Admiral's Joker gets Vela back on. It's a tricky setup, but it's a tricky map, but it's got good ability. I think this race is incredibly deep, and if you could end up back in sort of 6 or 7 if you get outside of the market. It's a big odds to field, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Outside of that, anything at Bendigo you want to sort of declare, stamp as a bet?
No. How about yourself?
I thought in race 5, I'm happy to give High Mighty and Coin Collector both another chance. I'd like to back both, sort of Dutch bet them both. So that's race 5, number 10, and race 5, number 9. Hey Mighty and Coin Collector. Let's head to Rosehill, Peter. Let's look at the grouse racing up north in North Korea with Rugby League country, Rugby League.
All right. We'll start with race
North
6.
Korea seems to be handling the COVID pretty good too, doesn't it, really? Not like New South Wales, but actual North Korea. Why is that fun? Serious? The self-isolating, like, they do it anyway.
Yep.
Just a thought. No one's bagging them now. They tell you to stay inside North Korea. You know what you do? You stay inside or you go. You're gone. You're a goner, mate.
Oh.
Anyway, Peter, which races do you want to talk about at Rosehill, mate? Big meeting. We could be here all day talking about it, but where are we going to start?
Let's start in the Tancred, race 6. I think that's a nice-looking race, 2,400.
Beautiful-looking race.
Yeah,
I think we found the same sort of horse here. We had Lucas Miller, racing manager for Chris Lees, on the Little Birdie pod, which airs tonight at 8 p.m. on SEN. Hopefully, Peter's got this out by then, but God only knows with this new setup. It was not bagging it, but I think there is sort of bigger goals ahead for the horse.
For which one? They've got 3 in the race. They've got
Mustahir, baby. Mustabog.
And Dancer Terrier. Look, I was quite happy to avoid the skinny odds on Very Elegant. $2.15 looks well and truly short enough now. Ditto Avilius, it wasn't suited against the day. It had a borderline awful.
After pinging the lids, we had Mark Roden on the Little Birdie,
yeah.
And he's pretty much saying Very Elegant will win, but it's just a bit too short, like you're saying, to get involved. And I said, how likely is it, I bet you, that Avilius pings the lids and is ridden with intent and wins, and we're not on and fucks us? Sorry,
Probably
guys.
pretty likely. Quick backup as well. Ticks that box. I just thought there was a race where you could probably find a couple at value. Southern France is capable of some really big splits. Wasn't suited there last start. Again, I think that horse might have a grand final in front of it that wouldn't be this weekend. The horse that I thought was strong the last two starts or so far this prep was Mustajir. It wasn't suited versus the day there last start. I think will improve going up in distance. Seems to map particularly well for this as well. That's probably the way I was leaning at the current price. And if Avilius goes anywhere more forward of midfield, I'll be chopping that and run.
What about Mirage Dancer? Drawn
Don't
one,
like-
just going to get the real quiet run. You know, it's going to get the trip. You know, SP'd $16 in the Caulfield Cup and went pretty well. Ran third. I thought it was pretty good there in the Australian Cup last start. It was suited in run, but it still went pretty well. Did sort of all it could do the previous start at Caulfield behind Miss Siska. First up was not well short of its best behind Alabama Express in the CF4.
Yeah, I was just happy to take it on from barrier one. I'm not exactly sure that's going to be the best place. I mean, the track's already a soft 6. There's rain forecast over the next few days, including on Saturday. So I think that's just a giant red flag for a few of these gallopers drawn inside or hard inside, especially if they're not necessarily depth in the wet. So for me, I was angling away from those sort of gallopers.
All right, race 7, the Vinery Stud Stakes, 2,000 metres, Group 1 for the 3-year-old fillies. Very Elegant actually won this race last year, and if you get a puntingform.com.au sub, or even if you just get on the Betfair Hub, Peter, you can go back and look at the feature race history and get a feature race report for this race. So the previous year, Hyam beat Unforgotten and Aloysia, and the year before that, it was Montoya's Secret. The year before that, Single Gaze. So some decent horses win this race, and there's two standouts here in Funstar and Probabile. Richards, Waller, McAvoy, McDonald. We had J-Mac on a little birdie pod. He said Funstar can do whatever he wants it to do. Very versatile filly. If he wants to go back, he go back. If he wants to roll forward, that's what he shall do. Is this a little bit sort of like unbettable, this race, unless you want to just get stuck in a Funstar?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much unbettable. I think just looking at what they've all done so far, Funstar looks the best equipped to get the 2,000 metres. As you said, I think J-Mac will go forward with Funstar. I don't think there's a whole heap of pace in this race. I think Shout the Bar will lead. Funstar can probably just put itself on the outside of it. That's unless one of those horses drawn out wider, and Strange Charm or Asiago will Love Me Quietly. If they really challenge, J-Mac will probably just slot in behind them, but it'll be in front of Probabile. And although I really like Probabile's late splits last start, it is difficult seeing it turning the tables. And again, just going through all of the starts individually and seeing which horse is the best profile to step up to 2,000, I think it's just Funstar. So having said all that, it's not really a race I've got any time for from a betting point of view.
I thought if you, I don't do it, but if you did play like sort of first fours and trifectas, I think Facino will need to be able to run on, but might run sort of into third or fourth. I think the good two fillies will probably Quinella the race. Race 8, the last race we're going to look at, Pete's the Emancipation Stakes, so 1,500 metres, Group 2 for fillies and mares. Invincible Gem won this race last year. Prompt Response, one of Scurry's girlfriends. Jeez, he's a man haul, that man, isn't he?
Just loves him.
Zambar the year before and Zambar the year before that. So decent race, pretty good field. Scurry was interested in Noir here this morning. Chris Lees has 3 in the race. They were the keenest upon. He's just turned the TV on. Antiques Roadshow. No good. We're not watching that. The Lees stable were keenest on Miss Fabulous, number 5. Glenn Bosco's on. Wasn't suited last start. Savage the line. Probably runs the big race here.
Again, it's going to be drawn. It's drawn cast. I can't see it being out of the last 4 and run. Don't really want to be with back markers this weekend unless proven otherwise.
Pahutakoa, same setup.
Same setup. Willing to go around both of those. Noir, Unforgotten, they're all going to be in the back half of the field. Even Dawn, don't like where it's necessarily going to be, but it's probably better equipped than those other ones. There's two here that stand out to me. Amangiri, first trial, no intent, snicked back to last, just went around. Second trial, wasn't asked for a thing and just obliterated a field. Maps to get just on the outside of the lead of Sweet Deal. It's got a good first up record. It's got some really nice figures in the wet as well. Ticks a lot of boxes for me there, Amangiri. So keen to have it on top. And the other horse that I'm not going to lose on Girl Tuesday. It just had a really quiet trial, wary of the horse first up, recorded a really good figure overall first up last prep. It's capable of some big splits. Drawn gate 4, every chance it settles midfield as opposed to being drawn or settling cast back in the field. So Girl Tuesday at the double figure quote, more than willing to have something on that horse to complement Amangiri.
I think it's a race where you found the right horse. What does Tommy Berry do though from Barrier 5? You're hoping he rolls 4, but I don't think there's any guarantee he does that.
I reckon
track play is just key here. Like, how have they been running? What's been happening? Because if they are running on, or if it is wetter than we think and it's chopping out and they're starting to swoop, then the Miss Fabulouses, the Pahutakawas, Unforgottens, Dawns, they're right in this race as well.
Yeah.
Interesting race. I think you're spot on though with Amangiri. Beautiful play.
Yep.
Bomb-proof play. All right, what's your best there in Sydney, Peter?
My best will be earlier in the card. I'll just bring it up. I think race 2, number 6, Time is Precious. Again, it's drawn gate 2, but I think just the way that the map looks, I think Brenton Abdullah can just keep the horse off the fence in those early stages. And it should be able to put itself forward to midfield. Wasn't suited versus the day there last start. Was really good going through the line, and its form stacks up as well. So for me, $8.50, it's just a no-brainer. Have to bet.
Beautiful work, Peter. Okay, partners, that's been us for the mailbag preview, the hashtag Corona self-isolation setup. Give us some feedback. Let us know on Twitter or wherever you want if you hated it or if you love it or what you think we should try and do next, because we're sort of running out of options, so hopefully you enjoy it, but feedback's always welcomed. Hope you have a fat weekend. I hope we race. I hope we just keep racing forever so I can keep feeding this little beautiful boy. Now, I just need to get going, guys, because his mother has lit a fire in our backyard. I don't know why. I don't know what's doing, but I can smell smoke more so than I could when this started. And the boy is just about to have a little tanty, wishy style.